Look, I understand the business changes, but wow. We've got a cruise company announcing cancellations in 2025 for 7 of their cruise ships for a variety of itineraries, for a variety of reasons. I also have an update on the bridge in Baltimore, and wow, did this lady mess up? Have you ever invited the wrong person to your cruise and now you're getting the advice to uninvite them? I feel bad for the lady that's about to get uninvited. What would you do? Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Vida Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your people, for your face on a Friday, a Good Friday, the 29th of March, 2024. And wow, interesting cruise news popping off for ye. Cruise news story number 1, we have an update to the Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. We know now what Royal Caribbean is going to do, but tactically, the actual thing going on with the bridge, they've relocated one of the largest cranes on the eastern seaboard right there to the port of Baltimore, and they're going to begin to try to remove the wreckage of the collapsed Key Bridge from the water. This crane can handle up to 1,000 tons of lifting, and that's the beginning of a process that will take a while to free that area so that normalcy can return for cargo shipping and cruise travel, that kind of thing. Of course, in the aftermath of the collapse of that bridge, we've seen cruise companies scrambling to make new accommodations for cruisers and cruises that were supposed to happen out of Baltimore. Carnival Cruise Line announced pretty quickly after the collapse that they would be moving their operations for their Baltimore cruises down to Norfolk, Virginia. And now we hear that Royal Caribbean is going to do exactly the same thing. Royal Caribbean's Vision of the Seas has been out at sea. They were expected to return to Baltimore on the 4th of April. Now instead they will return to Norfolk. They are working with passengers on board, giving them free Wi-Fi. They're going to give them transportation back to Baltimore if needed. And they've also announced that their next 2 cruises that were set to sail from Baltimore will now take and leave from Norfolk, Virginia. That is a cruise on the 4th of April and then a cruise on the 12th of April. After that, the Vision of the Seas was set to go down to the Bahamas for dry dock, anticipating that it would return to Baltimore at the end of May. No word yet what's going to happen after that. Baltimore and Norfolk, about a 4-hour drive or a 1-hour flight. Thankfully, and in a stand-up way, Royal Caribbean will be providing travel assistance for people that are on the current cruise that have to adjust flights and travel plans, and then also additionally for people on the next 2 cruises. The whole thing's wild. We try to take in the human calamity of the thing, the people dealing with the tragedy of the thing, but then we also hear that just a couple days ago, people are already counting the beans. Somebody's counting. It's, as Mocha Joe would say, it's the beans, Larry. They're already quantifying in dollars and cents what this collapse means. Carnival telling investors this bridge collapse going to be a $10 million hit to their projections. That's the way life is. It's so funny how we're able to quickly quantify these things. And cruising goes on, and cruising will go to Norfolk now, and I think I want to be a part of it. This just came in while I was filming. I have a confirmation number for my very first Carnival Journeys cruise, which I'm not even sure what that's like. I think maybe there's a late buffet. I don't know what that means. Anybody been on a Journeys cruise? Carnival Journeys cruise, 14 days from Tampa, April the 7th, going to the Southern Caribbean, and its final destination was supposed to be Baltimore, Maryland. And so I'm assuming now that it will be Norfolk. And so I've been to Norfolk to see a ship one time when the Sunrise was transformed. I just got to go on it and come off. I think I drove there. I think I drove there from North Carolina. So now I should be able to do the whole shebang, fly back from Norfolk so we can get some sense of what that is like. But it's wild stuff. That's the bridge update. Let's go to cruise news story number 2. Do you know what Broadway is? Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. I don't think that's a Broadway play. I think that's a Bugs Bunny cartoon. But you know what Broadway is. Cats, you know. The Rum-Tum Tugger is a curious cat. Phantom. I'm not going to do all the show tunes. And I'm not even going to talk about Broadway. I just bring up Broadway because I think a lot of people know what that is. Well, what Broadway is to American theater, West End is to British theater. So you got Broadway in New York, you got the West End in London. That's where the big musicals go on. That's what I'm trying to say. And now, excitingly, we have a West End production that will be presented on a cruise ship. I'm talking about the Oliver Award-winning comedy, Pride and Prejudice, asterisk, open parentheses, asterisk, sort of, close parentheses. I think that's the official name of the show. It is a comedy that's playing on the West End right now, and it will be appearing soon on the Queen Anne. That's a Cunard cruise ship. It's going to kick off with the British Isles Festival voyage. And so while I know it's not going to be exciting to everyone, I'm pretty sure it's going to be exciting to fans of cruise entertainment. Probably, you know, the theater nerds, choir nerds, also, you know, literary nerds, and then fans of Ludacris, who wrote Pride and Prejudice originally. Shout out Ludacris. Cunard's not that high on my I'm going to cruise on that next list just because it's so formal, that kind of thing. But I don't know, man. You give me a West End production, I might pop on there. West End girls. Pride and Prejudice. Sort of. What do you think? Would you be interested in the show? Leave a comment below. Cruise news story number 3 leaves me asking the question, Norwegian Cruise Line, what are you doing? Norwegian Cruise Line has just come out and announced the cancellation of cruises in 2025 on 7 cruise ships. And there's so many of them, weeks at a time, that I can't. You're going to have to go look up the actual. I'll tell you the ships. Let me first tell you the ship. Well, let me tell you the why. Well, I'll tell you the ships, then I'll tell you the why. We've got the Norwegian Epic has cancellations. The Norwegian Jade has cancellations. The Norwegian Pearl has cancellations. The Norwegian Spirit has cancellations. The Norwegian Star has cancellations. The Norwegian Viva has cancellations. And the Norwegian Sky has cancellations. That's 7 ships cancellations. And well, the reason that these thousands of cruise passengers are getting janked around with their schedule is because of this quote. Due to fleet redeployments, moving the chess pieces, charters, we sold your ship to somebody else, and a dry dock, we got a refurb. We have decided to cancel select sailings aboard the specified ships. NCL fleet size, 19 cruise ships. So 10% would be 1.9 or 2 cruise ships. So we're talking close to 30%. 21 would, I guess, would be 30%. To 20, over 20% of the fleet's got some cancellations. Hopefully, if you are on any of these sailings that got cancellated, you would have gotten an email, and we would love to commiserate with you. Is today cancellation day, fellow former future Norwegian Cruise Line cruisers? Leave a comment below. They got to look. Norwegian is very fluid. They're trying to figure out how to maximize their money, and they'll move a ship. They'll cancel a ship. They'll sell a ship to a whole charter. That it's not unusual to be loved by. It's Friday, right? Friday. Cancellated, leave a comment below. Now, I got to tell you about this story of woe, a woman that just wants to go on a cruise, and then another woman not wanting her to go on a cruise, and a woman that's probably angry at her brother's wife. Little in-law fighting. Who's right in this one? I'm going to share all that with you in just a second, but first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe if you like staying up to date with everything going on in Man, we're with like 1,400 from 250,000. Are you part of the number? Are you going to be a part of the first 250,000 Loca fam members? Your time is running out. Act now. Subscribe, notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. Well, look. I found a letter to Dear Abby, which I thought that there wasn't a Dear Abby anymore. I thought that she'd gone on to the great advice givers in the sky. And but no, there's a newspaper out there that has a Dear Abby column, and there just happens to be a Dear Abby column about cruising. I'll sum it up. Basically, a lady wrote to Dear Abby and said, my husband and I are going on an anniversary cruise. My brother, who's never been on a cruise, would really like to go on a cruise. So I invited him and his wife, Rita. And he was dag-nab excited about it. Yes, I will go on your anniversary cruise. I hope she asked the husband before she asked the brother. This is where it's already starting to break down. The brother and the wife, Stella, agree to go on the anniversary cruise. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited. But then Stella, while hanging out with her brother and his wife, Jewel, keeps gushing about how exciting this cruise is going to be. And then sitting there listening to all these exciting cruise plans, Jewel says to Stella and the brother of the lady who invited him, we're going to go too. They essentially invite themselves onto the anniversary cruise of the letter writer without the knowledge of the letter writer. And there's the rub. Guess what? The letter writer, as we can tell, is none too happy. Upset not at her knucklehead brother for not telling his wife not to talk about it in front of Jewel, because you know how excitable Jewel is. No, she's upset at the sister-in-law. You wonder if they already have tension? She's upset with the sister-in-law. Stella opened her big mouth, and now Jewel's going to be a tag-along. And this lady wants to know what Dear Abby thinks that she should do. And Dear Abby says, well, you should set him straight. You should tell your brother to tell his wife, to tell her friend to no cruise for you. Jewel's not welcome. She's got to go back and live in her car again. Jewel is not welcome. I called Jenny. I said, Jenny, would you be upset if this series of events played out? And Jenny's like, who cares? Like on a cruise ship, you don't have to do everything together, and it's a good time for families to get together and even friends. Jenny said she wouldn't be upset, but I don't know. I don't care either way. I wouldn't be upset. But what about you? Was it wrong for the invitees to accidentally invite somebody else on the cruise? If this was you, would you be upset? Is there a whole dynamic going on here? Because what if the lady's brother had done the inviting and it wasn't the sister-in-law? Do you think there could be some in-law action going on there? I don't know. I don't know. Food for thought. Food for thought on a Friday. Food for thought on a Good Friday. And it's undeniable. This is a big weekend. This is one of the big two for people that are down with Jesus. I don't know which holiday is bigger, but this one's significant. He is risen, and I'm all the better for it. I know not everybody celebrates the holiday, but it's a holiday that means a lot to me personally, and out of that personal feeling, it gives me a lot of love for everybody else. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend, whether this is your holiday or not your holiday. Much love to you. Much love to the local fam. And well, yeah, next time we'll see you. We'll see you on the Lido. Bye. Cruise news. Cruise news. Cruise news. It's over.